We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Welcome, New Mexico. So, Clay, interesting first part of the show there.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I mean, I think all our shows have an interest. It just depends on whether people are interested in them or not.
In that particular subject.
Yeah, in that particular subject. 'Cause we move around quite a bit. We go to do a lot of different things with a lot of different people and a lot of different subjects.
Yeah. Talking to Ed about the Tea Party, and that's probably generic to the Tea Party throughout the nation. Do you think the Tea Party is going to go away?
No, but I think it's going to do a little bit of restructuring. Just like the Republican Party is probably going to have to do a little bit of restructuring. Although I don't see that much problem with the Republican Party, but I'm not an expert in politics, even though we talk about it all the time on the radio.
Let me give you my perspective on that.
I don't really care about it.
I know you don't, but it's
you're going to give it anyway.
I'm going to give it to you anyways. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, we may get the wrong message again from what happened. We may get the message. The party may look at it and say, "Well, hey, Romney tried to be too conservative, and look what happened." Well, we really haven't had a conservative candidate, not a real true conservative, since Reagan. And I think if we had a conservative candidate, it would make a difference, and we could win this election because there'd be a clear difference between, say, a Reagan-type conservative and an Obama liberal. There'd be such a stark contrast that it would make a clear decision for people.
Romney is a class individual.
Yes, he is.
And when you see the way that the Obama administration and Axelrod and what they said about Romney and the things they did to him, do you think anybody wants to run to be president of the United States?
No, and I agree. And I think Romney's a class guy. I like him as an individual. I think his business background is fantastic. But I don't think he ran a smart campaign.
Well, that may be true, but they destroyed him as an individual.
Sure.
Unfortunately, people really don't pay attention except for sound bites. And so they hear a sound bite about him killing a woman, which he didn't do.
Yes.
Or him sending jobs overseas, which the Obama administration has sent more jobs overseas than Romney ever has.
Yes.
And it goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, and the media is just, they're a partner with the Democratic Party in this, and they were totally unfair to Romney, backed Obama to the hilt. The Benghazi thing's a good example. I mean, that's atrocious, absolutely atrocious. I'd like to have somebody on from the media. Maybe we can try to get somebody on to see if they can justify their coverage of Benghazi and rationalize what they did.
What I don't understand, Marty, is why the media is so pro-Obama. What is it that makes them pro-Obama and pro-socialism?
I think because they are liberal. They just tend to be liberal. The vast majority of reporters are liberal, and the bias shows up in their reporting.
Well, reporters are going to start losing their jobs as the newspapers continue to close because we can do everything online.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. People are getting further and further away from the mainstream media because there's no factual basis to what they're reporting.
Well, I would have to say that some of these reporters aren't really bright because all they're doing is reporting themselves out of business.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you take a look at cable networks like Fox, they're growing like crazy. Shows like Rush Limbaugh are growing. Shows like ours are growing.
And you watch the shows that are growing, and Fox News as an example, and then you wonder, how did Romney lose?
I think there wasn't enough people paying attention.
That got out and voted.
Yeah.
And people don't watch Fox News. I mean, you look at the total population, and what's really the total population that watches Fox News? It's the most watched news show.
Right.
But still, the total population is only a few million.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Greg threw out a statistic that he had heard yesterday. I haven't had a chance
Greg, the producer?
Our producer. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to verify this. I hope he did. But he said something around 80% of the Christians did not vote. That's atrocious. And that's a number that I know has climbed year after year after year. And, it's our duty as Christians to vote.
It's our duties of members and citizens of the United States to vote.
Yes, but as Christians, we have a duty to hold the state to moral accountability, as Chuck Colson put it.
Well, then, as a Christian, let me ask you a question as a Christian,
sure.
Marty. Then, do you think that God had a plan, and that's why Obama got reelected?
I don't know if God had a plan or not. Maybe, part of my thinking that next morning was, maybe we have to go through what we're going to have to go through the next 4 years for people to wake up and go, we need to change this. Maybe there wasn't enough people upset, and there will be by the time the 4 years is up.
When 9/11 came, The country came together. But how long did that last? It was a short term.
Yeah, that's true.
And now when people wake up on January 1st of 2013 and find out how the taxes have changed and how much more money they're going to be paying in taxes, they are going to wake up and they're going to say, what did we do?
Yes. Well, remember, 4 years of Carter brought us 8 years of Reagan. So who knows what 4 more years of Obama will bring us. There's a lot of bright conservative people in the wings of the Republican Party that weren't really ready this time around, that will be ready in the next 4 years. So, the Jindells, the Bushes, Jeb Bush, I think there's a lot of people out there that could make a difference in 4 years.
Well, Jeb Bush is a qualified individual, but just the fact that they have destroyed the Bush name, I'm not sure how far he's going to be able to get, although a lot of people are touting him as the next presidential candidate.
A lot of people thought he should have been the candidate this last time around.
Do you think he would have stood a chance with the name Bush?
I think it was too soon for him, but I think 4 years from now might make a difference. His wife is Hispanic. He speaks Spanish. That's a big requirement. Tapping into the Hispanic community.
What about the Hilderbeest?
I think she's going to run. I know we had the Abernathys on, and they don't think she's going to. She'll be too old. But I think she's going to run, and that's why she's going to get out of the administration. When it comes up for renewal, because she's going to start running on the side.
Well, how old was Reagan when he ran second time?
I thought he was older than this, but Tom, who we had on last week, said he was 72. Well, that would have made him 76 the second time around.
All right, and so she's only going to be, 68, 69?
Somewhere in there, yeah. So she's young enough to run.
And maybe Bill could run as her VP.
Yeah, well, that's people I know in Washington. I know that's a joke. People I know in Washington, one of the reasons why she didn't run again is because there's so much indiscretion on his part still going on. And the Republicans would dig that up. I think it's fair game if she does run.
Republicans don't do that kind of stuff. That's a Democratic thing.
They should do it because it is an issue.
I mean, look at Rudy Salas and Pedro Rios.
Oh, that's another disaster.
I mean, talk about a clean campaign versus a sleazebag campaign.
Yeah, and the sleazebag won.
Well, that goes in a couple of elections I can think of.
Sure.
One would be at the top and one would be local.
Well, and the other sleazebag thing I thought was Proposition 32. They tried to portray it as special interests. It wasn't special interests that were trying to promote that thing. That would have changed the entire complexion of politics in California.
Well, what we hope will change the complexion will be the Michael Reagan, Shannon Grove proposal to go to a part-time legislature.
If you could go to a part-time legislature, and if you could get the unions to stop donating to the Democrats, I think you'd have a totally different state here in California.
Well, of course, that might put some of the news people out of business during the campaign season. Then they wouldn't get all their revenue.
So one thing I know we wanted to talk about, we've got about a minute and a half left, is Medicare.
Medicare, yes.
Yes.
That's changing considerably, especially since Obama stripped out over $700 billion. And one of the, as I pointed out earlier today, the new term that I coined, senior abortion.
Oh, my God.
That's in the Medicare bill. It's called the Life and Death Committee. And if you're a senior and you get sick and need some medical care or treatment, you have to evaluate your value to society.
Yes.
What do you pay in taxes? What do you pay in Social Security? What do you bring to the table? Or are you one of those takers? And if you're a taker, you're going to get taken. You're going to get a pill to take away the pain and to help you die comfortably.
Now, you and I have about 40 seconds left here. You and I both deal in Medicare supplements.
We do.
So, in case someone here in Bakersfield wants to find out more about Medicare supplements, your phone number is?
Well, it's 427-4700, extension 1, and ask for Clay.
In Tehachapi, you can call me at 661-822-3737. And we both have 800 numbers for New Mexico, right?
Well, yeah, we do.
Mine is 800-696-3933.
And mine would be 855-799-9881.
And we will have somebody in the next couple weeks, an old friend of ours, Sally Pipes, on talking about Medicare again and about Obamacare. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180.